What's going on, y'all? Welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you are new. I'm Imani and this is my YouTube channel, and today we're going to be discussing what you need to have before hiring a publicist. So if you're wondering, is my brand ready? Am I ready? What is a publicist? Grab your pen and paper and we're going to get right into it. So today's video is a little bit different from what I've been posting. I wanted to do this video today because I've noticed a lot of people, a lot of companies, a lot of brands are so quick to reach out requesting PR services. I've experienced it. I've seen other publicists, I've seen other PR agencies say the same thing. So I wanted to do a quick video just sharing what you need to make sure you have before reaching out to a publicist, before reaching out to a PR agency. Now, let me put this out there right now. PR, public relations, is a marathon. It is not a sprint. I'm going to repeat that. PR is a marathon. It is not a sprint. You have to. That's one of the key things you have to understand. And I'm going to get into that later. Okay? And this video is for people with personal brands and for actual companies. Whether you're an influencer, a content creator, a photographer, if you're a speaker, an author, if you're a clothing brand, I always use clothing brand as an example. Just any kind of company, or if you're a personal brand, this video is for you. The first thing you need to have and you need to understand is exactly what is public relations. What do publicists do? In short, publicists make you look good. We're responsible for increasing your exposure, for increasing your brand awareness, for increasing visibility of your brand, of your company. Whoever our client is, we're responsible for bringing visibility to them, whether that's through media, whether that's through speaking engagements, so on and so forth. We are not responsible for increasing your sales. Increase in sales may be a result of what we do of bringing brand awareness to your company or bringing more visibility to your company, but we are not responsible for increasing your sales. We are not advertising. Advertising is paid. PR is organic, free. I'm saying that again because that gets mixed up a lot. PR is free, organic. Advertising is paid. We are not advertising. We are also not your managers. We are not your secretaries. We are not your assistants. We are here to be a liaison between the public, between the media. Now that we got that cleared out, let's get into what you really need to have. The first things first, you need to have a budget. Depending on the agency you decide to hire, everybody has different pricing. It just all depends on the agency you decide to go with. But I will say this. You need at least $1,000, $2,000 per month dedicated to PR. And that's just on the low end. I know agencies that charge $5,000, $10,000, $25,000 per month that's their retainer fee. A lot of people think, oh, okay, I can just pay $100 for PR and be good. It doesn't work like that. It does not work like that. You need to have a budget, a real budget, a realistic budget. The next thing you need is an online presence. And not just social media. You should have a website. You should have some type of online presence besides your social media. What happens when social media goes down for the day? Where are your followers gonna go? You may have 1 million followers on social media, but you don't have a website. So once 1 million followers are gone, then what? Then what you gonna do? So you need some type of online presence. And to piggyback off of that, you should have a active following. And I'm not saying you need 1 million followers. I'm not saying you need 500,000 followers. But you should have an audience, an active following that is willing to buy into you, willing to buy into your brand. You can have 500 followers and they may be the most loyal 500 followers ever. Every single one of them is interacting with you, they're engaging with you, they're willing to support whatever you do. That is an active following. Now that you know what PR is, now that you understand that you need to have a budget, that you need to have an online presence as well as an active following, another biggie that you need is patience. You need to understand that, as I said before, PR is a marathon. this stuff doesn't just happen overnight, okay? We need time to be able to put together your story, put together a strategy, be able to pitch the outlets, the media, whomever. It doesn't just happen overnight. You can't just get in Forbes. You sign a contract on Monday, you think you're going to be in Forbes Tuesday at 8 a.m. No. It doesn't work like that. I think that's part of the problem. People think, okay, so now I have a publicist, I'm going to be everywhere. No, it takes time. Now, in order to make it on Forbes, Good Morning America, Essence, whomever, wherever you want to end up, you have to have a story. You can't just say, well, I just dropped an album, so I feel, why am I not where I need to be? You have to, what is the story behind this album? What is the story behind you? You have to have a story for us to share. And I'm not saying that the story needs to be, you grew up, you had this rough childhood. No, it could be I released an album when I was 13 years old and it got 5,000 streams in the first hour. And now you're back releasing new music. Or it could be, so you could be someone in the neighborhood that is having a coat drive, let's say, and you're gonna be, you collected over 2,000 coats for your neighborhood and you're gonna be donating it to a local organization. It's more than likely your local paper, and if your story is bigger than that, somebody more than local is going to pick it up. That's a story. You have to think of it like this. Would you want to pay attention to your story? Would you want to read your story? If you don't think it's interesting enough, why do you think other people are going to be interested? It has to be newsworthy. Like, that's the key. Another thing you need to have is goals for your brand, short-term and long-term. That's self-explanatory. If you don't have goals for your brand, then you need to take a step back and really figure out what you're doing. Because that's probably one of the first things you need to do when figuring out what your brand or your business is. Figuring out goals. Just like knowing your audience. That's self-explanatory. You need to know who your audience is. You don't want to be a skateboarding company trying to target newborn babies. You have to know your audience. Because then you're going to get mad at us if we're not pitching. If you think your audience is newborn babies and we're not pitching platforms, pitching media that it targets newborn babies, you're going to be upset with us. Because we're over here pitching you to skateboarding platforms, skateboarding media, but you're like, no, my audience is newborn babies. It doesn't make sense. That's a very weird example, but that doesn't make sense. So you have to know your audience. And then the last one is you have to be able to be coachable. So a part of PR is media training. That's the coachable side of it. Some people need it more than others. Some people may not even need it. But being coachable is important because, and you'll hear it all the time with a lot of these musicians, a lot of these artists, when people are doing interviews and they're saying, oh, well, they're media trained, because compared to before, they might have been out here just saying whatever came to mind and then embarrass themselves. That's gonna hurt your brand. Some people are okay with that and just don't even care. But if you want your brand to be successful, you're more than likely gonna have to go through some type of media training. And just because you're going through media training, it doesn't mean that you suck at interviews. It doesn't mean that you don't know how to talk. It's just to clean it up a little bit. It helps you be able to answer questions better. It helps you know how to act on camera or on radio or on podcasts or speaking to a reporter or when you're going out and you're on the red carpet. I think everybody needs media training. I've worked with so many people, so many executives that I'm just like, how did you make it to this position and you don't even know how to speak on camera? This is not just like smaller companies. A lot of these huge companies have media training on a yearly basis. You need to understand what public relations, what publicists do. You need to have a budget. You need to have an online presence, an active following. You need to have patience. You need to have a story to tell, a story to share, a newsworthy story to share. You have to have goals. You have to know your audience, and lastly, be coachable. So yeah, today's video was a little different from the social media stuff, but I just wanted to share this information because I've seen it so many times, and it's crazy to me how many people have reached out thinking they needed PR and they don't even have half of the things that they need in order to bring on PR. Not to sell my company, but if you are looking for PR, please feel free to reach out. I will leave my company's information down below. We are a full-service creative agency. We offer PR, event production, social media marketing, design, and so much more. So if you're interested in learning more about those services, please feel free to reach out. I'll put out information down below. And yeah, don't jump the gun, please. Do not jump the gun. If you're not ready for PR, do not rush it. Thank you for watching. As always, follow me on all social media platforms at It's Imani Murray. Make sure if you enjoyed this video, make sure you like and comment. And definitely subscribe and share the video. If you have anybody that's interested in hiring PR, but they don't know yet, show them this video. And my other ones too while you're at it.